we had a meeting last week there with them, and I'll read over some of the stuff that we talked about. First thing came off was they're pretty much saying they're behind on wages, that the matrix should be up better than what it is. And they're asking for $4 an hour raise, no COLA, and then $25 more on clothes. And when I brought up to the attention about the contract, if we had to do it every year or whatever, they said it all depends on the wage increase. If they got what they wanted this year, then they wouldn't, they'd put it on for, you know, a couple years or 3 years. But if we don't, they will try to get more as you know, every year.
So did they offer any proof about where they're looking at the market on the matrix update that they're behind?
He never had nothing. He had to get some stuff from Sarah. Sarah had to show him actually. Once again, he come in here unprofessional. He didn't have nothing. He just comes in and says $4 an hour raise because that's what they want.
Yeah, so the union guy.
Yeah, Craig.
Craig.
And he never, you know, I mean, before we used to get all kinds of stuff, but our lady did it for us in Armstrong. She did all the stuff, and then we go through each page.
Well, it's incumbent upon them to bring us proof if they feel like that. I mean, I've got some. Actually,
They don't have nothing.
Well,
One of the biggest things they were saying that they didn't get COLA. Well, nobody got COLA in 16, but they got a 14 cents an hour raise. Everybody got it.
Well, so what are they saying about they don't know COLA? What do you think that means?
That they don't want the they want $4. They just, because.
They don't want the 2% COLA.
Not if they get their $4.
Well, that's not negotiable.
The way I see it, I'd say give them $1 this year. That to include the COLA, that would be 62 cents plus 38 cents is what the COLA was. And that would be $1. And then $1 next year.
But we have a 2-year contract, right?
Have a 2-year contract.
I have a hard time.
See, it's incumbent upon them to bring us data that they, to
This
say
is what
the
you get,
matrix.
Bill. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he reads off, and that's what he.
But that's your notes.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but I mean,
he didn't bring
He just
anything
rattling
to us.
off and
but I mean, it's up to them to say, okay, the market is, we're so much and we're at so, okay? The calculations I did and gave to Scott were for Scott, I don't know if they weren't for them, but you know, what I did is took small counties and I took road and bridge operators and no foremen and
But really,
truck drivers and mechanics.
what really you did their job.
Yeah, but I gave it to you so you could have something.
Yeah, I knew that, but I'm just saying that they,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
that's what
way.
they need. I mean, that's the stuff that makes sense. I told you, I thought, I don't think they're behind, but, you know, I'd like to keep them at high, middle. Certainly, I don't want them to be the lowest paid, you know. But there's one calculation I couldn't make. If you look at our 6 guys, all of them are pretty junior. And I calculated, people in small counties all over the state, but I don't have any
I don't have any
idea
idea what their
what seniority
longevity
is,
is.
you know what I'm saying? And maybe one of the reasons our guys are looking at a loop, small average, $18.68 is the average, is because they're all pretty junior guys. You know, there's one senior guy in that whole 6, so that brings the average down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because no damn been there that long.
I've been there.
I mean,
Exactly.
Plus, you didn't, there was no way to see what those other counties' fringes were.
No, although I did do some research, I can't find a county that pays as much towards their health insurance as Granite.
There isn't.
I
They
can't
were,
find
they
it.
were gonna bring proof that there was, because I said there's
Well,
not.
okay,
and-
you know, if they find one, that's, I'll believe it. I was like, God, how do you have a negotiation when the other side doesn't do their homework? Pretty hard.
They expect you to negotiate with yourself.
I guess.
Yeah,
And,
it's
you
a
know, hey,
tough
look,
thing.
we got great people, we wanna take care of them, it's money in the bank for the county, hiring and retraining, and hiring and retraining is expensive, we got that, okay? So what we wanna do is we wanna find the market and make sure our matrix, meets that. So, I don't know, Commissioner Adler, when are you meeting again?
I think it was supposed to be 18, but maybe 20. It's pretty much gonna be email. He didn't want to come back because he says it's easier for him to email. And I think he should be here in person, because I mean, it's a money deal, but he don't takes time out of his.
He's not being.
He never has. Since I've been here, he never has. I was looking for that stuff from Emma that we'd have on here, what she would write up and we'd go through each time.
Right.
And it just say, yeah,
Written proposal, yep, back and forth.
it's a union proposal. That was the last time in 15 that we got anything like this. And it's.
So what do you recommend our next step is?
Well, because they're getting the COLA, plus the 50 cents that we offered them, so that's darn near $1 right there.
Well, they'd love.
That's pretty close to $1.
But they don't, and then when I brought in about the insurance and that, they just pretty much told me that that's what they expect. Well, that's not, we pay $1,081 a month on people.
So,
52,000 a month, what we pay in insurance for employees.
so
I'm
just,
still stuck on the 50 cents.
so just looking at the, if we took your 50 cents plus the COLA and then maybe a little more, that's $1, and $1 next year. The data supports that we're probably behind. I can't figure out the senior, so the average is $18.68 on our employees, right?
On our employees.
And we don't know, they're pretty, the statewide average is $24.30, okay? And I have no idea what their seniority is, I guess, okay. But just saying that we're behind. If we gave them $1, including the COLA, including everything, let me finish. And we gave them $1 next year, the total in 2 years will be $24,960. Okay? The total next year would be half that, so $12,430, something like that. Okay, that's what it would cost us over and above. That's for the whole crew to meet this.
That, for the first year, then that'd bring their average from 1868 to 2006
In 2 years.
in 1 year. That's what it would be the
Oh,
first
I'm
year.
sorry.
You said
Yeah.
COLA plus
You're
$1. And.
No. I like your idea of including the COLA in
Oh,
the
I do
first
too.
dollar.
I do
No,
too.
I'm not saying that. Everything COLA in the kitchen sink that comes to $1, that's what we're gonna give. And then the next year, we're gonna give another $1. But we have a 2-year contract, we don't want them coming back next year, right?
Right,
And we'll be pretty close to the average. We know we'll be at
we'll be midway.
upper middle somewhere in the statewide average. I mean, I think that we're just trying to find the market. Look, they're not helping us to find the damn market, right? And, I don't know, Commissioner Adler, what do you think?
You know what I think. I'm not forgiving another $1 next year. I don't care if they gotta come back and do it all over again.
Well, do you wanna do $1 including the COLA this year and
No,
let them come
50
back?
cents plus the COLA. That's what I was.
Which
stuck
brings
at.
them to what?
88 cents.
88.
Okay, and then not coming back next year, gonna cost us a lot of money to do this.
Why?
Your time,
That's what we get paid for.
okay.
It ain't like we're using him, she costs us $10,000 a year. or 2 years.
What do you wanna do about, what was the other?
25 cents more in clothing because the price of boots have gone up,
$25?
or
What
$25 more, so.
do you wanna do with that?
No.
What else?
There isn't even one, I think there's one guy down there wears white boots.
What else is there?
And that's it.
The make doesn't make any difference, they get so much in clothing.
Commissioner
I don't-
Bonney, what do you think?
At the very most, I'd give them, the buck with, coal included, at the very most,
How about next year?
$1 is what I would think.
Is that a motion?
I would form that as a motion, yeah.
Okay, so your motion is that we give them,
That we offer them,
we offer them. And we'll let Commissioner Adler start however he wants to. He's gonna have to offer him everything right off the bat. He can
yeah,
play with that, but up to, right?
up to.
Is that your motion?
That's,
So
did you get
it's,
that? I didn't.
so Mike, it's, the COLA plus whatever it takes to bring it to a buck. No clothing, right, change,
No clothing
Right.
change,
and $1 next year.
that's correct.
And Commissioner Adler has the power to do the best he can with that.
With-
That would be
with
the
that-
top offer.
That limit.
So wait, this second, okay? So you wanna go $1, right now, and a COLA?
I wanna give them $1 right now,
Including
including the COLA.
So it'd be the 50,
It'd be 62 cents plus 38, or, yeah, 62 cents plus 38 makes a buck.
That's this year.
And offer them the offer is that for this first year, the second year is $1 raise. No increase in clothing allowance, they get 450 now, is that correct?
Yep. So no increase in COLA, and you got a 2-year deal, not a 1-year deal.
2-year deal.
Now, Scott, you don't have to sell the whole bolt out. You can tell them you're authorized to spend that much money, right? Does that make sense? Okay, there's a motion, I'll second the motion. So further discussion on the motion.
I think I don't agree with it, I just wanna make a note of it. 50 cents plus the COLA, that's, and then we're gonna give them $1 again.
For a 2-year contract.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
Okay, so you're not, so,
I'm not in favor.
okay, so any further discussion?
No,
Okay.
you know that, Mike?
I'm not sure I'm gonna open up for public comment
I've got lots of experience
on
on
a union
negotiation.
deal. Shoot.
I mean, I've negotiated contracts with steel workers, iron workers, everything, so there's 3 things you can play with. I look at the total value of the contract, and you have healthcare and base wage.
Right.
And all the ancillaries, and so I look at the total package, and so I look at that, what you're actually spending on for the labor in that unit, at the fringes and the base, you have a pot of money. I always say, well, okay, then I'll add COLA to that, but I don't call it that, and that's the new pot of money, and a lot of times, younger folks, younger guys, who don't have a lot of seniority, they might prefer base wage rather than healthcare.
So here's what we got though. Older guys and newly
Yeah.
hired, new employees.
Right.
We got older guys.
Older guys, but new employees.
Yeah.
So-
Healthcare means everything.
Yeah, so they're gonna want the healthcare rather than the base.
Yep.
So that's what you're gonna have to play with. And so, the other thing you can play with is a longer contract, rather than 2 years go 3, and then have another add to that. Then you can just put it away. And so, Scott, you think you don't have the ability to negotiate. They've given you now a limit to negotiate to, so if you want to start at 50 cents in COLA,
Yeah,
then
do
you
it.
can.
Absolutely.
I'd play that card.
That's what I'm saying, is your first negotiation is whatever you
Yeah.
think, your 50 cents, right? And then, but we're gonna give you the ability to
We
go
gave you a
up
limit.
to-
Right. And so, Scott, question, have they, how long has this been going on?
No, couple months.
And is the contract, it's null and void now? They,
It will be when, Mike, I think,
I have it over.
Is it?
So they're working with that contract right now?
Yeah.
So I guess the question is that, have they given you a firm negotiating offer other than the $4?
$4. That's all they've
You
got.
started out at 5.
Oh, wow. And have we given them a formal offer other than, what, have we written anything down to?
Yes,
We have.
So we've given them some, they come back with 4 down from 5? So it's our move then,
Yeah.
supposedly, okay? Well then, you've got certainly a latitude to negotiate however you want within the limits that you've been given.
Right. And Scott, don't feel like you have to settle this.
Should not.
okay?
Oh, I'm-
If you come back to us and say, okay, I haven't spent my budget yet, but here's where I'm at, that's okay, right? And we'll talk about it again.
And I'd use the empty chair strategy, meaning that you're just been given this from the bad old boys.
Yep.
And so you're just telling them what you've been given, and this is all I got. And so just say, I'm beholden to you, this is what I got. And just only give them a portion of what you have been given.
Right.
Let them go away, think about it, and then come back again. And then again, give them a little bit more, but tell them, I don't have any authorization to go further than this.
And they might go away during your negotiation out of the room, come back with drop down, and you're such a good guy, you might give a little
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
And maybe you're stuck there, or maybe they just negotiate all day and you give them a little more each time because they come down each time. But the motion on the floor is to give you the authority to spend COLA plus whatever it takes to get to $1 and another $1 for a 2-year contract. If you can get 3, God bless you,
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Go for it. So that's the motion.
That's the
You wanna
motion.
change your motion? Or you're good with
No,
the motion?
I'm happy
Do you
with it.
understand the motion, everybody? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So you understand what you're,
Good.
you know what you got to deal with, right? Okay, thanks for your input. Appreciate it. Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Okay, now don't everybody tell them what our deal is.
So just another question, comment. Again, you know what your budget is for this. Have you ever used the lever of contracting it all out rather than having self-employment?
We haven't, but that's a potential.
I mean, you can always use that as a veiled threat, that you're thinking to contract it all out.
We threw that out.
We've done that.
Did you?
With him,
We did it
yeah, we have
before.
it in here. We've told him, maybe it'd be just better off if we hired it
Just
out.
contract it out.
And
You
We've
know
had
what's-
guys come in, actually, 2 contractors have actually came in and said, why don't you just put it out?
Yeah. I mean, there's a number of
It's
advantages
been-
that,
It's
I
been,
mean, you can either you can own your capital equipment and they can use it, or they can bring in their own equipment and then you can monetize everything that you have. And the only thing is that if you ever get rid of that contract, you have to get back into it and then you have to buy capital equipment
That's
again.
the issue.
that's the thing about, we got good equipment.
Yep. Well, our issue right now, you guys, to be honest with you, is the union is not sending us a negotiator.
No.
I mean, the guy can't even spell his own name. We're like, come on, send us somebody that, knows how to play the game.
Well, in this case, I would just throw him, just throw him out of the room. If he can't come and give you a professional offer that's actually can be negotiated, just say, listen, I'm out of here,
Well,
and walk away.
He got here the other day and then he had to go out and said, well, I better talk to him before they come in. And when he's talking, them guys, they never talk to him. They have no clue what
It's
he's
really-
bringing.
it's really
on
That's
it.
for,
And then they're sitting, one's back there,
All right, let's get,
All right.
let's get,
I've got
you
a
have the
question.
authority, hang on a second, you have the authority to do what we
I'll
asked
have
you
to
to.
talk to Blaine then on this, because they said they didn't wanna, they just wanted the email, because we're taking up their time.
Okay, all right, well, however you wanna do that, all right? You might have to send back the 14
Well, I don't
days.
want it, now that she has a recorder, I don't want this to get out. 'cause
You guys,
then-
we're doing negotiations, would you mind not making this public? It leaves us in a bad situation.
Yeah, you
Does that
can't
make
do
I
sense?
mean, it just shoots our game down.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Why wasn't this discussed? You say it's part of the budget. What budget?
The road department.
The road department. Wasn't that discussed in the preliminary budget public hearings last week?
Okay, so, yes, salaries was part of that discussion, but we're in the middle, this is a whole separate thing. We're in the middle of the negotiation of wages for our road department.
And shouldn't it have been settled last week
We don't
with the,
control that, it's, the unions does. They have a right under Montana law to come in and negotiate it starting when Scott started. And, they have to agree to meet, and, you know, we have to set a time to meet, and we don't control that. It doesn't have anything to do with the budget other than when it's finalized. But, you know, we'll live within the means that we have in the road department budget, absolutely. We won't offer them any more than we can afford. But negotiations can go on for years sometimes, sadly.
oh, I don't know, I was with the union in New York, and if we didn't get what we want, we went on strike.
Well, so they can do that too.
Yeah, that's right, there's a time limit, is what I'm
Well,
saying.
But there's no time limit, we don't set that, they do. And so we're negotiating in good faith, is what we're just asking you, don't make it public, let Scott do his job, that's all. Mr. Mott.
How does this wage increase compare with the wage increase that you're offering to the other employees in terms of percentage
Good
increase?
question, we offered the other employees the COLA, the cost of living, and
How much is that?
it's 2.1%.
2.1%.
And we are gonna offer these guys the same thing, plus he has authorization for more.
So the only thing that the public employees are gonna get is a COLA increase of 2.1%. Is that?
Well, I'm not sure that's the only thing, is there anything else, Mike?
I don't think so.
Is that it?
They get their step when they
Yeah.
come up on it. Yeah, when the matrix, when they come around on their matrix, they get that.
So 2.8%,
2.1.
you said the average,
2.1.
yeah, said the average is 1868, so 2.1 times that, 36.40 cents, somewhere in that vicinity.
Somewhere in that area, 38 cents a
32,
38.
32, 36.
So, in the absence of an agreement, then for the union employees, you would put in 2.8% to
2.1%.
2.1% to give them a comparable increase for budget purposes.
Yeah.
I think Scott made a good point at one of the previous meetings. You give it to them, and why shouldn't the other employees come and say, I want the same thing?
A couple of reasons. One, elected officials, their salary is set by the public employee they work for. The elected, fortunately, the deputies are set by that. We have to find a different market for road department officials because they work for us. They don't work for, they work for the supervisor who works for us. They don't, their statute, their salaries aren't set by statute. Elected
I mean the
officials, we don't have-
employees.
Yeah, we don't have, that's who they are. They're elected officials, sheriff's deputies, deputy clerk and recorders, deputy treasurers, okay? All those people are work for elected officials. The road department works for Paul, who works for us. So it's a different market. Their market is more, what are the other road supervisors paying, what are the local construction guys paying, what are the, you know, operators, mechanics, stuff like that. It's a different market. And it's not set by state statute. So it's we have to handle them differently.
Okay, thank you.
And that's what we differ on this big time is, you know, I feel not as good as the other.
Okay, so Scott, do you have anything else?
Can you did you say you wouldn't put that out anyway?